Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Pumpkin Spice, an all-new take on a classic chai. Robust and seasonal, with organic black tea, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and real pumpkin. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank y'all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Knowsee.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
The Tinder profile. Don't tell my wife about it, but
we'll make sure she skips through this part.
Right? All right, man. Yeah, I was born and raised here in Vancouver, still live here. Union carpenter, build some of the buildings going around downtown and stuff. And yeah, man, just been a big hip hop head since I was a kid. And yeah.
Oh, yeah. And what got you into music initially?
Initially, I mean, it was just always super common in my house. My parents have always been super big music heads, My mom wore the classic 80s, freaking Bob Seger, Eagles stuff. And then my dad was always 90s alternative. So I had a good
you had a good range for
sure. It's funny,
sure.
Even though I do hip hop, that's usually what I listen to mainly. That's the core of me, But yeah, so it started pretty early with them. But then third grade, I got this kid from school gave me a Marshall Mathers LP too, just the disc.
And that was the moment.
Dude, yeah, I took it home in my backpack and it was sacred.
And fruit, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because if my mom would have caught me with it, she would have broke it in half.
Oh man, sure. I can't tell you how many burned CDs I had that got thrown away for very similar reasons. Yeah. There was a reference to a window and a wall in a certain song, and the rest of that was not okay in my household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hell yeah. But I mean, that's, it's funny how often Eminem has been referenced as an early music experience. At least 50% of the episodes.
Really?
His name gets mentioned in some form.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
For us 90s kids, he was the one that was so out there with what he was talking about and you just wanted to listen.
Yeah, really pushed the envelope in a lot of ways. And also oddly marketable.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why, because I was a kid at the time, but very easy to be look, he's doing a thing again, and everybody just ate it up. Yeah. But I mean, even to this day, still pulling his weight. So
yeah, dude, for sure. He's impressive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, and then for this next question, this is one we ask early. It's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
My first album. Probably around that same time, but it was before that I got given that one. I think it was Nelly Country Grammar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man,
the Ride With Me and the God, what other song? Yeah.
Did you ever do the Band-Aid?
Oh, dude, I was rocking that Band-Aid heavy in my house.
Yeah. I guarantee you Band-Aid ran out of the multi-packs. Yeah. That was the only place you could get them. Yeah. Not that I would know.
Yeah. Just third grade Chris in my Jinkos and my Band-Aid, bro. I was rocking them.
Yep. The way oversized shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that for sure.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, dude.
And then what was the first live show you ever went to? That was one you wanted to go. So you saw it was happening and you were like, I want this to happen, and you went to it.
The first live show I went to that I really, my dad took me along to my first one in third grade. Actually, third grade was a big year for me.
Really? Yeah. We'll hear that too.
Yeah. He took me to Matchbox 20 at the Rose Garden.
Okay.
It's dope. I still dig Matchbox 20.
Yeah.
I just seen them at Ridgefield.
They had their place in time in music. Yeah. You know what I mean? They weren't Creed. You know what I mean? No, I'm kidding. Everybody who likes Creed. Please don't come after me for that.
Right.
But no, they had their time. Kind of like POD, they had their time.
POD was dope.
Who was from Smash Mouth? They're not Smash Mouth. Who is from Vacaville? Papa Roach. There we go.
Papa Roach. Godsmack was pretty dope then.
Yeah, see, like they all had their windows of time.
For sure.
Hell yeah. But what was the first one that like you wanted to go to?
I mean, dude, it skips forward. Like the first concert that I actually went to that I was stoked about was probably a Tech Nine concert in like the 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I went for like my birthday, and I was pumped.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Do you happen to remember like around what album was out?
Yeah, it was Tech Nine Collabos. Or no, I'm sorry. It was the Psychology 101 album.
Okay.
Yeah. Crooked Eye is on the intro track, and that's still like my favorite Tech Nine album for sure. It was dope. And what was crazy, dude, is like Slaughterhouse ended up being a huge inspiration to me with hip hop, you know, that super group with Royce and Crooked Eye. They opened for Tech Nine at that show.
Oh, damn.
Before they were anybody. And I was like, these guys are sick, dude. And then, later on, in Slaughterhouse,
that would have been a wild show for sure.
It was sick, yeah.
Hell yeah. I can still do the entirety of This Ring from memory. Like,
oh really?
I don't know what it is about that song, but it's stuck with me.
Got me a top notch. Dude. That's such a good one.
Definitely. It's way longer than I remember it every time I listen to it, but definitely quality jam.
For sure.
That must have been, like I said, that must have been a really cool show.
It was dope for sure, dude. Yeah. It was a good time.
Oh yeah. And then just kind of to wrap up the foundation portion of this, do you have a defining moment where like you decided you wanted to take music like even more seriously? Because it sounds like you got into it pretty early. But like, is there a moment in time where you were like, this is what I want to do?
You know, I actually never had any pursuits or dreams of doing music younger. I was always a huge fan of music, like I said, reciting all my favorite artists' lyrics and stuff, all the Eminem albums and all that, but I never really wanted to be I always wanted to be an actor growing up, be into comedy and stuff, but honestly, it was when I went through my drug addiction phase, when I got sober, it ended up just being my best way to vent, dude. Like I started just writing poetry, you know, it was all just like a cappella shit, and then it was weird because, you know, in the recovery scene and everything, a lot of people get triggered or they don't want to talk about the details. But for some reason with me, that was literally what like helped me stay clean, like reminiscing and all that bullshit and that darkness. Yeah. It just, it made me want to stay away from it. And then I felt like I naturally just started to pick up a knack for it. You know, I formed my own style pretty quick and naturally. And it started, I had a homework assignment to write a poem in a treatment center, and then it ended up being a badass poem. Oh, damn. I wrote about addiction, so I just hit the ground running from there, and I just got obsessive with it, dude. Hell yeah. So that was probably 2012. Okay. Yeah. And you've just kind of running with it ever since. Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, like when I was, you know, all loaded and stuff, tweaking, I would, you know, run on sentences that rhymed in journals, but I was never like pursuing music, you know, just some typical shit that you do in your high, like... But yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, with what you're doing with it now, it's pretty impressive. Thanks, man. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Let's talk about the here and now. We're going to get a super easy one out of the way. Yeah. How did you pick your name? Knowsee. So my last name is Knowsee. Ah, okay. So really didn't have to go far for that one then. Yeah. And that's cool because it's unique and it's made out of two very like heady words. For sure. Like if you were just like, you know, you got to know and you got to see, I would have believed you. I would have believed you 100% if you had said that was the reason. When I like how you actually, you read it. Did you read it that way? Like when you read it too as Knowsee? Yeah. A lot of people pronounce it wrong, just like they pronounce my last name wrong growing up. But like playing sports and stuff, a lot of people just called me Knowsee. Oh. And then, when I was trying to think of an artist handle, I'm like, what could it be? And then I'm like, I'm all into that, just like, you know, super third eye deep shit, you know, with some of the poems I write and stuff. So I'm like, I can make it like on a conscious level, like Knowsee. Oh, okay. So it actually was that. Yeah. And then, okay, cool. Yeah. And then it reads out like I thought it read out better like that. Like I said, people have mispronounced it, but you know, my name's spelled Knocee. So like people aren't gonna just use my last name. I'm like, people aren't gonna read Knowsee when they read it. So I just spelled it out, Knowsee. Oh, okay. Knowsee. And most of my music's like on the conscious level of shit. You know what I mean? So yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that was a regular answer turned incredibly fun. So I really like that. Hell yeah. Thanks. Yeah. And then let's go ahead and let's talk about your writing process. And we're going to kind of break it into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. Okay. So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music. Yeah. What are some of the things you do to get a track started? Man, I've always been just a pretty like introspective person, you know? So like when it comes to the poetry side of things, You know, if I feel like I've just been stale for a while and haven't written or anything, or it's literally like medicine for me, dude. And you've probably heard, that's probably cliche. You've probably heard it before, but if I'm in a funk or anything, I mean, that is like my ultimate serotonin boost. If I just start writing some dope bars, and that's really the foundation of it too, is like, I mean, I'll write about other things off of the drug topic, but I'll just like sit and reminisce and some bullshit, you know, and then just start thinking of crafty ways to, you know, using terminology from my past life. And a lot of it's dark and in the past stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I kind of just, I'm such a busybody, man. Like if I just feel like I said, dormant, or like I haven't written in too long, I'll just like kick up that creative spark myself. I'll just go and just start just trying to remember old shit and then just writing on it, you know, like, oh, I was at the Motel 6 this one time, and then, you know, just starting to remember what happened there. And then
interesting.
But with, you know, I mean, I can get super inspired though, because I'm really into battle rap, you know, like I don't really listen to a lot of new rap, but like battle rap I'm super into and stuff. So if I see someone, I'm like a sucker for wordplay and just like being really articulate with words and stuff. So if I hear someone just be crazy on something, it makes me want to just go find a beat and write to it, dude. Like, no,
I just definitely get that.
Hoodie up in that zone, you know what I mean?
And that's all like the lights except for one, like the hallway light, and I'm like, go stand in front of it, make my silhouette.
Yeah. 8 Mile status. I feel like I'm B-Rabbit in
the shower with your hoodie on. Like, anger guys.
Yeah.
I love that. Hell yeah.
For sure.
Hell yeah. And then once you get a track finished, so it doesn't have to be like put out and released and everything like that, but like once you're done creating the track, how long does it usually take you to get comfortable performing it?
Man, so that's something I've always done fairly quick. Like I've always tried to like have this turnover rate when I like write features and stuff for people. I've always like been really OCD about like the fact that like I'm sending it back to them in less than 48 hours. That's like my thing, 48-hour turnover rate. But even with myself, so I don't know if you've seen the 1 minute rap segment I was doing, but I dropped a fresh 16 over one of my favorite beats every Friday for a year straight. So like when I was doing that really got that muscle like sharpened up for me, because like I was working full time doing all that. And then so it's like, I'd be writing verses on my lunch break, and then as soon as I would have the whole 16 written, I would just listen to it over and over and over. And I read an article from Jay-Z or something too, and I think he said like it takes roughly 20 times to memorize something before it's stuck. And I feel like that's pretty accurate, because I'll go over the whole thing about roughly 20, 25 times, and then it starts to stick. And I swear, usually, to answer your question, I'll usually have it memorized by the next day or the day after, just because I'll be so OCD, bro, reading it over and over for a couple hours. And it's weird the way like your mind remembers shit, at least mine. I'll read it all those times, but like if I try to memorize it that day, it's like mush.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Sleep on it and it's fucking there. It's so weird.
No, I mean, I think it's one of those like you have to like get the imprint of it. Like I do that. That happens to me a lot with drums, actually. If I'm trying to figure out some kind of new technique, I have to spend my whole time sitting there just doing a really bad job of trying to figure it out and just like burning that movement into like that place. And then the next day I'll sit down and I'll go to try it and I'll nail it first take. Just because I'm like, oh, like you know,
memory set in.
You develop that muscle, and that like your brain is just like, oh, it's supposed to be like this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's dope, dude.
Hell yeah. And then looking back on, let's do the last year. So we'll say 2023.
Okay.
And I mean, again, you've been doing this for a while. Like you've got a pretty sturdy catalog and everything already. But in the last year, how would you say that your process has changed?
It's honestly fallen. It hasn't stayed as like solid structure wise as it was. And I mean, not to make excuses, but a lot of it just has to do with I have 2 kids in the mix now, you know, they're about to be 2 and 4, and it's just been busy with that. And that's honestly just taking priority being a dad, you know. I'm having so much fun with that, dude. But
well, I mean, that's going to be, that I imagine becomes whole new experiences that then can go into your music. You know what I mean? Like all of the biggest artists always take time away to like live life.
Yeah.
And that's important. You know what I mean? Especially in the early years of, you know, your children, until they become conscious of the world around them in those ways. So it's totally understandable to do that. Also, like, I feel like music is important to you, but you know how to prioritize everything well, it seems like. At least for the most part. Like as much as we can as humans.
Yeah. I definitely got still dysfunctional qualities for sure. But no, you're right, dude. Like I have such a full throttle type of energy, you know, that like when the kids go to bed at 8, like last night I wrote a new 1-minute rap to a dope like Conway the Machine beat I found. I was like, ooh, I love the way that sounds. Scatterbrain, that beat off one of his albums. And I just wrote a 16 to that last night. I already got it memorized from this morning, you know, because I did my little routine. But yeah, so as far as creating and writing stuff goes, that's still as good as it ever was. It's just the content side of things. Like we were talking about with editing videos and stuff, you know, I think back on it, I'm like, how was I fucking pushing those videos out every Friday? Because now it's like, maybe I'm not motivated to, but after the whole day with the kids and shit, it's like, I'm just not going to sit on my slow ass computer for 4 hours and do that. But I'm still stacking up all the writtens, you know? I just put out another visual probably 2 weeks ago, but I sat on that one for like 7 months. Pissed at myself, you know? But my camera's right in the spare bedroom. So it's just things like that. Just life.
No,
busy,
totally.
But
totally.
And I think still going.
Yeah, I think sometimes too, just passion has to take time off. Like it is, you know, it is as much a muscle as it is the mind.
For sure.
So I think that, you know, even as long as you think about it with care and you plan on going back to it, it's not going to be bothered when you come back. You know what I mean? Like it'll be waiting for you when you're best ready for it to show up.
I agree, dude.
Yeah.
And I've even found like, I've only done it like once, but taken like a literal like month break, you know what I mean? And like had this theory that like maybe, cause I was just writing so much at one point that I felt like I was spinning my wheels. I was kind of like trapped in a box. It's like, maybe I should like step away and read and shit for a minute and then come back with a clean slate. And you're writing in from a whole other angle almost when you do that, you know?
No, it makes a big difference. I mean, even I do mini versions of that for the show. There'll be times where I'm just like, you know what? I'm starting to have dreams about editing.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to touch my computer for the next 2 days. Like just hard stop. You know, I always try to stay ahead as best I can, but like if it's one of those moments where you got to we have to put the brakes on it for a little bit, that's healthy. And even being able to acknowledge that as a person and make those decisions just kind of says a lot of the respect that you can have towards your craft.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Well, that's the last thing I want is to get burned out. You know, I want longevity in it. Like when it becomes unfun, I've heard that's when people say, fuck it. And
well, then it especially in the beginning, until like you're paying your mortgage with your music, you're doing it for the fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, there can be an end goal of like making money, but in the beginning, there's nobody forcing you to release X amount of things or put out a certain amount of stuff to sign, you know, fulfill contractual obligations.
Yeah.
So you have to want to do it.
For sure.
Or else it doesn't become fun anymore. And what's the point?
And I had that kind of tunnel vision at first when I was like way worse at making music too, but just like that instant gratification, like I want to be big superstar. And it's like now that I've had kids and everything, it's like, dude, honestly, like I wouldn't even want all that headache. I mean, I love making music for me. It's my passion. So it's like if I have a genuine, you know, 500 to 1,000 following that are like legit about me, I put out merch, they want it, you know, they fuck with me, I put on little mini tours on the West Coast, they go see that, like that's dope, and then you make money, profits off that, like that'd be fine for me, you know.
I mean, honestly, I don't think a lot of people realize how capable a like coastal fan base is. Like your local can be the entire West Coast. Yeah. And it's very easy to get from, especially as a mainly vocalist, you don't have a ton of, you could bring your own microphone everywhere if you wanted. Oh yeah. They'd let you check it on the plane. Like, so you can go anywhere in a day and be back the following day or even same day if you really wanted to and do most things up and down the whole West Coast. So you actually can build an entire following that never leaves these 3 states and do it enough. Like, yes, you would still have to spend like 1 weekend a month away from your family to make that lucrative, but that's fine. Like that's 1 weekend, you know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of things, if it was turning in enough money, I'm sure it would balance out, even if it gave you like an extra day here and there on the other side. So
and my wife's so supportive of the dream too. Like she's even, I mean, she would be down to just, rent a car or a little RV and we go up and go to Cali and back and hit a bunch of little freaking bars and shit on the way. Like that'd be dope, dude.
Yeah, see? And then it becomes a family vacation. Yeah. And the kids can now experience you doing music as a passion. Yeah. So you kind of they get to become the second generation of music appreciation in your family because you got to express to them even more than your family expressed to you in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I've thought of that too lately, you know, like it's showing the kids like following through with something and having a passion, something that you're super into that you don't give up on. It's like not about how your accolades in it or anything. I mean, all that shit's cool, you know, but like if you have a catalog, you have a catalog, you know, whether anybody ever hears it or not. Like my Aunt Charlene on my dad's side, she always wrote poetry, and like no one knows that. Like she didn't write poetry, like she just has like a little binder of it. But I thought that was so dope. I'm like, dude, she's just always been jamming out poems. Like that shit inspired me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like no one knows about it. Cool.
I remember when I was younger, when I was first getting into music, I don't even remember who the guy was really, but there was some family friend who we went to their house, and they had such nice gear. Like killer guitar, stellar amp, a huge pedal board.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was just getting into music. So like I saw that and I thought, oh, this dude this dude's got to be on the road or something, like studio musician for sure. And I'm just like, oh man, like tell me about your stuff. Are you in a band? He's like, oh no, I just play for me at home.
And that's even more inspiring.
I couldn't grasp that. I was like, wait, no, you have quality gear. Like this is thousands of dollars of stuff. He's like, no, yeah, I just like to play. I don't like, I get nervous around people.
See, that's so fire though, dude.
Yeah, and it blew my mind. Like now I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, you know, it's unfortunate that he did feel nervous and couldn't play with people, but like the playing of the music is the important part.
Yeah, because once you're in that creative realm, bro, like everybody's in there. Like I'm on some like, you know, I think on like a whole like more hippie level of shit with energy and everything. But I really feel like that. Like I feel like when you're really locked into a creative space, like it's this space where like even the great musicians, writers have all been, because, you know, you'll be writing sometimes and it feels like something's almost pushing your pen.
Yeah.
You know, where like, you're like, where this isn't even
the music is coming out
where's
of
this
you.
coming from?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're in that space, dude.
You know, I forget who said it, but somebody was basically like, you know, when I write music, it's not me writing the music is using me as a conduit to escape.
Dude, for sure.
And I was like, damn, that hits.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've felt that even, dude, I've had some random times that I've like woke up and I'm like half in and out of REM sleep. And then I'm like, I have like the most amazing bar in my head as I'm like half awake and I'm like, oh, I'll remember it when I wake up.
No,
like,
never.
It's gone.
Never.
Like, I was in that, you know, it's like you should have woke up and went.
That's when you have to hit Siri with the Hey Siri.
Yeah.
I had to make sure my phone didn't do it. But that's when you just like, hey Siri, write down, take a note real quick.
Yeah.
And then you just say it.
I know.
And even if she doesn't get all of it, or he, you know, however you have your Siri set up, it's there
for sure.
If you do the whole iPhone thing, I don't know what phone you have.
Oh, I have an iPhone for sure. Yeah, that's the move, dude. I don't know why I didn't that night. I swear.
You know, I've definitely had moments where I'm like, what a good idea.
Yeah.
And it never comes back. But for some reason, the memory of having a good idea stays.
Dude, that's the whole feeling. You're like, at least I can still get them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Good.
You're like, I just have to practice until I can do this during the day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Well, now let's go ahead and let's talk about some of your music. Because like I said, you've got quite the catalog going all the way back to at least 2020 on Spotify. So that's just for such a short window of time. That's a copious amount of music.
Thanks, man.
But your most recent work was Lightwork, the album.
Oh yeah.
With Seven to Pantha.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's a really fun album. Like, can you kind of take us through, like, what was it like doing a collaborative album, first of all, but what was the experience in total?
Dude, it was so dope. First of all, shout out Seven to Pantha. And the whole Takeover Music Collective, man. It was an honor to work with him. I remember I met him at a Cypher Saturday, and I don't even really know if we talked then, but I seen him freestyling and I was like, this dude's a monster. Yeah. And he was there with his whole crew. I mean, because he's just like got that raw, like off the top, real flow. And it just reminded me of old school, like Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang shit. And I was just like, this dude's sick. And then I don't even think we talked then, but then we were on a show together after that. And I seen them perform and stuff. And then I was performing and they all came in halfway through my set. Like they heard me outside and him there, like he was down with me, bro. He was like, your shit's dope. I was hearing you. And then we just kept in contact, dude. He put me on he did a little tour for an album he had and put me on that show. And then we just, you know, kept having connections and talking and stuff. And he was like, we should do a project together. And I was like flattered. I'm like, you want to do a project with me, dude? Like, that's sick. So we just got busy writing, man. It was kind of a long process. I bailed out of going to Seattle a couple times, you know, so like it took longer than it could have. Again, family shit, excuses.
No, but I have a hard time getting up there myself, so I get it. Next time we'll go together.
Hell yeah, let's do it, bro, for sure. Yeah, I actually just made a trip up there. We did a music video for Lightwork.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, it was dope. Actually, Lightwork and Sinatra's Ghost, the song Soul the Interrogator and stuff. So we did 2 visuals and. Yeah, it was awesome, dude. So the project took about 8 months to record.
Okay.
Once I got all the stems sent over, though, he's got engineers over there that I swear, like that sound, I was so impressed with it.
It did sound really good.
Really good, you know, like everywhere, you know. Like I've even recorded at some studios around it. It's like, and it sounds good. Don't get me wrong, but it's like you could just hear the panning.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this
it doesn't translate to every speaker in the same way.
Yeah, and I was super impressed with it, but yeah, it's dope to be working with those guys, man.
Hell yeah.
Super good vibe. It's just I feel like I'm making the right steps, you know, in regards to music, because I feel like I've manifested that, you know, like I don't click with not that I don't click with everybody, but it's like
you're not supposed to click with everybody.
Yeah,
that's literally just being human. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be the perfect fit for everybody you work with. That's natural.
Well, I mean, I can click with everybody. I mean, I can get along with everyone, you know, but it's like my schedule's already so full with family and stuff. It's like you're gonna really pick and choose who you spend your little time slots with. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I just like instantly seen them live and was like inspired and looked up to their art, and then like they wanted to actually work with me. So it's like, yeah, you keep a tight circle of some people that are like-minded, and you know, we'll see where it goes. But I mean, we're gonna do another project and shit. And yeah, dude, man, that was like a fun one to make, and it was effortless, bro. Like back and forth, you know, we were just writing verses back and forth. There was no like, it was dope.
No, it felt very like on the level, like everybody was really showing up for the whole thing. And I mean, there aren't a ton of other features too, which is kind of cool. Like I like it when especially for collaboration albums, when it's just mainly the 2 artists, and all of the features were really welcomed.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, shout out Soul the Interrogator too on Sinatra's Ghost. Mm-hmm. That one has the most features on it. He produced that beat as well and rapped on it. So yeah, there's some talented dudes. And that's what I mean. Like those dudes are like, you know, they're family guys too. And they're just like, they all have regular jobs, but they have the passion for music and stuff still. And they're not like on, you know, social media flaunting, talking. It's just like, they're low key and humble, and they're like badass at it at the same time. Like that's the kind of people I want to be around, you know?
Well, yeah, they've just been moving quietly and perfecting their art.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I mean, even outside of that album, I mean, you recently put out an EP, I believe it's called Sack Lunch.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's sick. I know. See, I just need to learn how to market my shit better. I put that out and it got like but I don't market my things well at all.
Trust me, like I'm learning that all the time through the show, and there are some things about it that like you either have to accept you're going to hate and do, or accept that you hate and don't do. And like, that doesn't mean that you can't still make things happen. Like, obviously you're still making things happen. You still have people show up for your stuff. You know, you get to work with talented people.
Yeah.
So like, really, I just think it kind of like, I always look at social media as, if you're needing to achieve something, you can do the thing.
For sure.
But don't use it for everything. Like it's not meant to do everything. And if you try to do all the things, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
So like, I always try to like, you know, I use it to reach out to people. That's the main thing I use it for. And then I post stuff out of respect for the necessities.
For sure.
But like, I use it as a communication tool. Yeah. If I wanted to like blow up on it, I would have to do a million more things. And I'm but one man, as are you. And again, you prioritize the more important things, which are your family and those real world connections. Like social media didn't get you the collaboration album with Seven. You know what I mean? Like you performing, you in your element, showing what you did, got that for you.
Hell yeah.
So that, you know, you're still doing it right. Like social media isn't the only avenue. I know that's the narrative, and I know even, you know, we're here, but it's not the only avenue.
Yeah.
It's just you have to be committed to pursuing it other ways as well. Like you have to just put the effort in anywhere.
Right.
And it will pay off in the right way.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like just because Sack Lunch didn't blow up right out the gate. Like you said before, you have a catalog.
Yeah.
So it can blow up at any time.
For sure.
Like all it has to take is one person hearing it and going, yo, let's put this here, or let's show them this or that. Like, that can exist. And I mean, I listened to all of it. I mean, you know, I know it's only the 3 tracks, but I just thought it had a good variety of sound for being such a short instance of music.
Dude, thank you, bro. I mean, every song had a different vibe.
Red Light was my favorite of the three.
Thank you.
But I felt like the EP had a very have you heard the Obby the Nomad versus Kato on the Track EPs? They call them albums.
I know Kato on the Track for sure though, but I haven't.
So they made 2 little mini albums called Obby vs. Kato 1 and 2. And the vibes are very similar.
Really?
Like, definitely go check it out. I'm not saying you sound like them, but the feeling you get from it is very similar.
No, that's dope, dude. I love that.
I will say this: those 2 albums were both in my most listened last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Definitely go check them out. But I really liked your presentation in that EP, and I even noticed because I went back and listened to a few of them, like Abstract on Dirtbag 3. Awesome track. You were gassing the whole time. And even go even further back, Dumb with 9DM and Sleepy Samurai.
Oh yeah,
Sleepy Samurai.
Yes, sir.
And then Pager.
Bro, that's my best performance song. That shit gets people going. Why?
I could believe it.
I think that's the one that Seven was like, "Who is this guy in there rapping?" Because
I could believe.
Yeah, that one's a fun one to perform.
And I mean, not just because first of all, it slaps. It hit. But I noticed 2022 was the year where your sound really took off. There was a notable difference, but that track really just kind of came out the gate. That was the first one going from the bottom up where I was like, oh, this is something right here. All the other ones were good, but I could tell, like I said, the sound jump was there, and then you hit him with that, and I was like, damn, this is
thank you.
This track hits.
I know, it's finding that again. That's the hard part, right? Because
all the tracks I listed have that, to a degree. They all have, and there are more in between. I just can't list all. Everybody go listen to the music if you want to find it all.
Stream Sack Lunch. That's the first time I've promoted it.
Yeah.
No,
but
thank you, man.
There are recurring elements in all those tracks that are just you clearly were all the way in your bag for those moments.
Yeah.
And so you do hit that. You do have that. And I mean, Sack Lunch, I think, was some of my, usually I'm like, oh, I go to a deep cut. I think Sack Lunch was my favorite work of yours independently, just because it's all polished. It's all defined. And there was not a moment that lacked. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that's, I just need to figure out how to, that's another thing. Shout out Seven on that too. Our album's gotten a lot of, attention and stuff, but it's mainly from him and Up North. Dude, that Sack Lunch project got 30 streams. No one heard it, but like I said, I didn't promote it right or nothing, but I just put it out and yeah.
But see, now when people hear light work and they go, yo, I dig Knowsee, let me go check out, they're gonna be like, oh my God, there's so much music here.
Yeah.
And of course they're going to jump to the first 5 at the top of Spotify. Those are all bangers.
Hell yeah.
So
thanks.
And even when they go deep, most people don't go back to the very first thing. Most people are like, oh, we're not going to go to the first thing because it's, it's like South Park season 1.
And I wish I could delete some of those first 10.
Because
it was the tone, delivery. I mean, I just started, bro, a different guy.
I think it's important that people can experience the progression.
Yeah.
Because when I listened to your current stuff and then I went back and checked out your old stuff, I was like, damn, the growth is impressive.
That's right.
There is such a noticeable difference that you can tell how much effort you put into getting better just by the quality difference. If you go on Spotify right now, you can still listen to Jimmy's JamBox episode 1. You want to talk about rough? Talk about rough?
Yeah,
it was. Man, it was bad. Everybody, please don't go listen to it. But it's there, and it's rough.
Yeah,
but it's there, and I don't want to take it down because every now and then, even I go back and listen to it, and I just go, "Oh,
yeah,
I really have gotten to a point." Because it's hard to see the forest through the trees when you're going at it day after day after day.
Yeah,
and you're only comparing what you're doing now to what you just did a moment ago.
Yeah,
it's hard to see that. But then you go back and you listen to those very first ones and you were like, oh man, I remember when I recorded this with an SM58 in my neighbor's garage and didn't understand how acoustics worked.
Yeah.
So I think it's important.
See, and the fact that we've always had that drive, because that's pretty common, but we'll look back at our early stuff and cringe, but it's the fact that we can move past that and keep working hard, you're never going to be a pro right when you start, you know what I mean? Yeah. But especially the age of social media and everything, it's you have this built up idea of how you're supposed to be, or you want to be all fine and polished right away. And it's dude, you can't just start good. You're going to suck at first, kind of. But it's the fact that it inspires me, the fact that I look back on that, I'm how did I even keep going from there? How did I think that was decent? But it's the same way I think of my bars now. I always felt that way about it from the beginning, Well, that's what it takes.
You could see what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The sound in your head in the beginning is not what comes out.
100%, bro. Yeah.
Kind of like how I was saying with drums. Like, I've been listening to music forever.
Yeah.
I know what drum beats should sound like.
Yeah.
I know what ideas I have for drums.
Yeah.
But my physical muscles can't do the things that I'm trying to do yet because I haven't learned it. I haven't practiced it. I haven't done it. But I've done some things that are cool.
Yeah.
Either on accident or semi on purpose, or like I now get to the point where I have a thought and sometimes I can make it happen.
For sure.
Before, I would have a thought and it wouldn't happen. So I'm happy with the sometimes it happens now because that is a step past never happening.
Yeah.
And I think true musicians are always trying to bridge that next step.
Yeah.
Like there is no end goal. Your craft can always be refined. It can be different. It can be adjusted. You could take on like different like approaches and personalities within it. Like it's so limitless. Like you could go and start like a hyperpop project tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you did it. Like once you start, and you probably wouldn't be great at it unless you have a secret hyperpop alter ego we don't know about. But you wouldn't be great at it. But you have the tenacity. You would have the desire to do so.
For sure.
And you would have an idea.
I've thought of it like with making beats, like I know I have a real ear for the beats I like, and I feel like I know what dope beats sound like, but if I went and tried to make them right now, they'd be trash.
Yeah, because you wouldn't know the equipment. Yeah, if you keep pushing the buttons, it's going to happen.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. All right, well, we've tangented away from the general line of conversation here, so let's get back into this.
Okay.
And we're about to wrap up kind of this middle portion anyways.
Okay.
But we have talked a lot about, your experiences with music, the actions, the reactions, and things like that. But when it's just you and the music one-on-one, and I know you kind of touched on this before, but going a little more in depth, what does the music give back to you?
Like I said, dude, it's almost like an antidepressant for me. Like, I've had my array of mental health shit with meds and all that, and then like coming off of dope and everything. And just like it keeps me together, dude. I swear. Like it sounds weird, but like, yeah, if I'm like in a frustrated, tense mood or whatever, and then I go like write some shit, like that's literally like a boost of serotonin for me. Like I'm in a better mood after that. Like how people talk about cold plunges and shit. I feel like if I write some dope verses, bro, that's like how it makes me feel. I'm like I'm just in my zone. I'm better for the family and everything. It's weird. It's literally like a medicine for me, for sure. And yeah. But that's how, like I said, when you take the fun out of stuff, that's when you might lose that side of it, like trying to like appeal to a certain audience or whatever, like that's when, and you're trying to write like, oh, I want it to sound like this or whatever. And then that's maybe when it gets unfun, like some of the dopest stuff I write, I'm literally just like improving. And then like, I might even like can like the first half of it, but like in the middle of it, there was this crazy pocket, and then I might build off of that one. Yeah. But it's just like, getting in there and just like starting to spitball ideas and.
No, totally.
Yeah.
And I think, just devil's advocate that the tiniest bit, if your goal is to try and sound like something as the exercise, there's nothing wrong with that. Like trying to figure out how a sound is created is fine.
Dude, for sure.
Yeah, but like you said,
no, I agree.
Leaning into it where you're like trying to just sound like that sound all the time and not create your own identity.
Yeah.
Like, that I feel like that never pans out anyways, because then you're always chasing this existence of something that is something else.
For sure. Well, like even so, like Pager is that more up trap beat, type vibe. But like before I did Pager, and even after, like boom bap's kind of my bread and butter. And that's like, I get inspired. If I hear a good boom bap beat, bro, or like an old Mobb Deep beat, like it just, I have to go right. Like it gets, that excited feeling, like it's a drug for me. But I've had so many people be like, you might be able to blow up, bro, if you just try to write to something else than boom bap. I'm like, then it's not even fun to me no more. Like I fuck with boom bap. Like that's the core of me. Like that old school hip hop shit is like what I love. Yeah. And it's like, if you take that from me, then what am I even doing it for?
Exactly. And I see that kind of circles back to what we were saying before about, how you said you didn't promote your EP much and it didn't blow up because of this and that. I don't think you made it to promote it anyway. You know what I mean? Right. Like that's the point. Like you made it with the approach of the passion. The project was the point.
You're right. And those 3 songs, bro, I like with that Woman in Rap I told you about, I was sitting on those songs for almost 8 months, and I was like, and they were already starting to sound stagnant to me. And I'm like, if I don't drop them before 2023 is over, I think I did it right at the end of the year. Yeah. I was like, then they're just going to be archived forever. Yeah. And fuck that. I just need to get it out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now we're going to go ahead. We're going to switch things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well.
Sweet.
And for this first one, pretty straightforward. But if you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Who would it be? God, that is a good question. I have a few, man. Fuck. Mickey Fax for sure. I don't know. Do you know who Mickey Fax is?
The name sounds familiar, but
he just started this hip hop academy called Pendulum Inc. And it's just super impressive, dude, what he's doing.
Hell yeah.
For sure. It's like literally like a college university for hip hop people. And he's like a top tier lyricist. And he has people coming on and teaching seminars and stuff. And yeah, he's been on like the news recently and stuff for it. It's like, he's literally like starting a hip hop school.
Yeah.
I want to get involved in it eventually, but yeah, probably him. Like I said, he posted one of these reels yesterday, dude. And just the verse was so insane and had this crazy scheme in it. And I was like, I listened to it like 5 times in a row. And I'm like, dude, I got to go right now. That shit was fire. But yeah, probably Mickey Fax. And then, man, I know I'm going to drive away from here and be like, dude, why didn't I say that? For sure. But
no, I mean, I think that's a great answer for sure.
Oh, you know who else? I'm sorry. Ilmac.
Okay, yep.
Bro, for sure, 100%. See, I would have been pissed if I didn't think of him. I look up to that dude a lot. That dude's insane, bro.
Oh,
like battle rap and just a lyricist. That guy is a lyricist.
Yeah. And then some.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in just being a fly on the wall or just even peeking into his creative process. Yeah, because like you said about like, you know, the first version of me, how I knew how I was wanting to rap, but it wasn't coming out like that. I feel like, not saying I'll ever be on his level, but that's like ultimate evolution version. It's like, hopefully one day that's where I evolve to, is something on that caliber. Cause like, it's like, I want to feel like I think that way, but it's like this dude articulates it. Yeah. Fucking incredible. You know him obviously,
very much,
too, right?
Very much so. Yeah.
Sick, bro.
Hell yeah. No, that would, I could definitely see why you would choose him as an answer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Man, I've met a lot of the local artists around here. I can't think of any that I.
Oh, I think you might be a little far from the mic.
I can't think of anybody that I haven't in the area, really, honestly. Who would it be? Figure 8. Me and Figure 8 are about to do a song together, though. I talked to him and stuff, but it just hasn't happened yet. But
well, that'll be dope.
He's a good dude, man. Yeah, shout out Figure 8. He's dope.
Hell yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and he's a big part of the community with music and stuff, and that's super inspiring too.
Very much. Yeah, so. Very much so. I mean, him and the Fish have put on so many people at this point,
dude. It's dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I dig those guys, man. God, who are some big artists out of here? Oh, dude, I'm sorry, Milk. You know who Milk is?
Yeah.
Milk.
Okay.
He's sick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hell yeah.
That dude would be fucking.
Everybody at Milk in the comments. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Yeah, dude. He's fire as fuck.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
See, he's got that old school hip hop vibe, just that. Yeah, and it's like, dude, and I've even thought about reaching out to him, but it's like, fuck, how many people have reached out to him in the area? You know what I mean? I don't just want to sound like that's one of those things that it's like, if it happens organically, maybe one day I'll see him at a show or
I mean,
hear a set of mine or whatever, but you're not just gonna be like, hey, dude, I rap too. I mean, we do a track together.
You'd be amazed how often people who like do their craft like will be okay with that. Like, yes, I'm sure they get it a lot in a lot of ways, but if you can figure out at least a clever way to reach out.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are people who are super accessible that because they reach like a certain stint of fame, people think they are no longer accessible. So they actually just kind of live in this in-between space where they want to work with stuff, but nobody keeps trying to work with them.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Again, I'm not saying just like blow up their DMs right away every day for the next 100 days, but like
you said about the freaking those dope interviews, you know, like if you wouldn't have shot your shot.
Yeah.
What's one text do?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, in the wise words of Michael Scott saying Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Bro, that's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah.
I fucking love Michael Scott, bro.
We can do a whole episode on The Office.
Oh, God.
For a different podcast.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Michael Scott is the man. I have a Dunder Mifflin hoodie.
I have a World's Best Boss cup.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'd get in trouble for branding, and I got to support.
Oh yeah.
The Brothers Apothecary.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
Shout out the brothers.
Hell yeah. All right, and then for this next question, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal here.
Yeah.
But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it's guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere except the Sphere in Las Vegas. Where would you pick?
Red Rocks.
Damn it. That was the other one I need to start saying except that too, because that is definitely a recurring answer.
Okay, well then the Gorge Amphitheater would be fire.
Hell yeah.
In Quincy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few shows there. That is beautiful, bro. Have you ever been up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so dope.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a big spot to be doing stuff too. That's like definitely obtainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. There's others too, though. I mean...
And I only say no Red Rock because a bunch of people have said it. I would love to do an episode of my show at Red Rock. Like that is a spot in my heart as well.
For sure.
But I always like to think of like, what are some like abstract places? Like I said, like think outside of...
Or no,
okay.
That's not abstract though.
Well, think outside of an actual like performance space.
Okay.
Like let's go worldly a little bit.
It would be dope. What if you threw a show like on Mount Hood in the snow?
Ooh, okay. Like everybody took the like ski lift thing up to it.
Yeah.
And then there was just a lodge at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or on some like gorge shit, like in the summer, there's like a scavenger hunt to find like one of those geo eggs. And then you find it, and then there's an address location, and then you like take it to the address, and it's a fucking Airbnb up in the woods, and the show is there.
All right, see?
That would
that's
be
what
fire.
I'm talking about. Like that. Yeah. Those are that. I always wonder if like people are doing those kinds of things and just nobody knows about them because they're like so exclusive.
Yeah.
But I think that those kind of things, even if they're a smaller like audience, it's more like intentional.
Or bro,
everybody wants to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could go anywhere, I would go to that spot I keep seeing pictures of that Kanye's apparently doing his new album at. Have you seen that?
No.
Like some Arabian desert, bro. Like he has like a badass couch and like a whole setup. Like he's apparently like creating and recording his whole next album there.
Oh shit.
I've seen pictures of it online, but it looks crazy. It's somewhere like wild.
Damn. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine what he could create a space to look like anywhere.
Dude.
Like, he just has the means, and in, large parts of the world, he still has the support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Well, if we can ever get access to that place, we'll do another episode there.
Dude, let's do it. Yeah.
And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have put out an album yesterday, or they could have put out one 100 years ago. Who would you want an album from?
Oh, to make more music?
Yeah, just like I said, you could get one more album from anybody right now.
Big L.
Damn. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It is inspiring how often his name comes up.
Really?
Because like you get a lot of Biggies, get a lot of Pacs, get a lot of like people who are still kind of doing stuff now. But Big L is a name that every time I hear it, I'm just like, hell yeah. Like that is a man who deserved to be remembered.
For sure.
Not that the other people I listed didn't, but like Big L was really somebody who was just on the rise the entirety of their existing career.
Yeah, and just had such a little catalog.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it would have been so sick because everything in it was so ridiculous, bro. Like,
yeah.
Who else was dope? Big Pun was pretty sick too.
Hell yeah!
Like, what's that song? Twins with him and Fat Joe. That song is crazy.
Man, Fat Joe. What is he doing nowadays?
I don't know. Probably into a bunch of side businesses and stuff.
Probably.
I see him on interviews every now and then. He looks like he's doing well with all of his jewelry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he really makes music no more.
Yeah, no. I want an album from him. That's going to be my choice for this episode. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's get one more Fat Joe album.
Let's get one.
Hell yeah.
What's love got to do with it? No, just joking.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start wrapping this up. Okay. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and August?
Now in August, I'm dropping another collaboration project with my boy Sonny Darko.
Oh, hell yeah.
Who, if you probably CBK, you've seen some of the CBK stuff, the Comeback Kids. Shout out Sonny Darko if you guys haven't looked him up. He's
featured on a handful of your tracks already.
Oh, yeah.
So there's definitely, y'all can experience him pretty much immediately when you check out this guy's music.
And he's like a very impressive lyricist. I mean, he's like, dude, he's been in the game for a while. He was rapping with Strange Music back in the day and stuff, and just yeah, he's my boy, and he gave me a lot of confidence early on with doing the music and stuff. That's the first songs I did were with him, but we got like some of my craziest shit and his coming out this year. So around springtime, next couple months we're gonna start dropping singles for it and stuff.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah. And then just a couple shows I got actually, have you ever heard of the venue Chop Suey in Seattle?
Yeah.
I got a show there in May, which I'm jazzed about that, and Seven's gonna go out there with me, so that'll be cool.
Keep me in the loop for that. Maybe we'll take a JamBox on the road with y'all.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I got 3 singles in the chamber that I'm going to drop over the next few months. Excuse me. And then I got like 5 1-minute rap videos I'm sitting on, but I just haven't jammed the visuals out for them yet. So those are going to come out whenever, but content will be coming out through the year. And then, the collab album will be sick.
Well, definitely looking forward to all of that. Yeah. For the next thing, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on social media platforms as Knowsee, Knowsee, except on
on the thing again. So like I said, for this, go ahead and we're going to start from you. So hold it for a second, look at the camera, then hello and your name.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Knowsee.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
The Tinder profile. Don't tell my wife about it, but
we'll make sure she skips through this part.
Right? All right, man. Yeah. I was born and raised here in Vancouver, still live here. Union carpenter, build some of the buildings going around downtown and stuff. And yeah, man, just been a big hip hop head since I was a kid. And yeah.
Oh yeah. And what got you into music initially?
Initially, I mean, it was just always super common in my house. My parents have always been super big music heads. My mom wore like the classic 80s, like freaking Bob Seger, Eagles stuff. And then my dad was always like 90s alternative. So I had a good
you had a good range. For sure.
It's funny, like, even though I do hip hop, that's like usually what I listen to mainly. That's the core of me, but yeah, so it started pretty early with them. But then like 3rd grade, I got this kid from school gave me a Marshall Mathers LP too, just the disc.
And that was the moment,
dude. Yeah, I took it home in my backpack, and it was like sacred
and fruit. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, because if my mom would have caught me with it, she would have broke it in half.
Oh man, sure. I can't tell you how many burned CDs I had that got thrown away for very similar reasons. Yeah. There was a reference to a window in a wall in a certain song, and the rest of that was not okay in my household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hell yeah. But I mean, that's, it's funny how often Eminem has been referenced as like an early music experience, like at least 50% of the episode on the thing again. That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.